Hi, this is Rachel from the Dotting Center, and welcome to the Christmas Ornament Factory. Today we're going to make this little ornament. It's so sparkly, colorful, and precious. I have two different levels, straight dotted, and then we're going to get crazy with the rhinestones, so stay tuned. For this project, you'll need some dotting tools. These are my favorite. This is my set that I designed. Here's a glass bauble. I'm just using a 3-inch size, and then I'm using this little plastic ramekin to hold the bauble as I paint it. As for the paints, you'll need to get some multi-surface paints. I'm using some from FolkArt and Stewart, but you can find other brands. Just make sure it says multi-surface because we're painting on glass. For the divider lines, I'm going to use that white watercolor pencil and then some stylus tools I'm going to use for the tiny dots. Now when you set up your palette, multi-surface paints tend to be a little thick. You can just kind of tell this is a little bit too thick. It really just depends on the look that you're going for. You do want it to stand up against gravity on the sides of this bauble, but you don't want it to be so thick that it peaks or looks weird. So my favorite thinning medium is Liquitex pouring medium. You just want to pour a little bit in with the paint and mix it up so that it has a nice consistency. It's hard to describe the consistency. It's just basically a smidge thinner than the way it comes out of the bottle. So just like this. So the first thing you want to do is take your bauble and divide it into 8 equally spaced sections. So the way you do that is you place a line from the top, so you're looking from the top onto the ornament, place a line north to south. And now we're going to turn the bauble 90 degrees and place another line north to south, and this is going to divide your ball into 4 equally spaced sections. And now keeping that view from the top, take each of these sections and divide them in half. And what you want to do is this is going to train your eye to kind of keep each side of your line the same distance. And it might take a few tries, and it's totally okay if you get it wrong. This line will come off. This watercolor pencil is temporary, so if it ends up being a little bit more to one side, you can just erase it and try again. But once you have all of your sections, you are ready to paint. So we're going to start at the top using size number 5, and we're going to place a gold dot on each of these lines. All right, so once that row is done, then we're going to take a smaller size, so number 3, and place a pearl dot right in between those gold dots, all the way around. And now we're going to get the number 7 tool. This is much larger, and we're going to place a gold dot underneath the white. So this dot's going in between the 2 lines and underneath that white dot. So you have 3 different points of reference for that dot. All right, so now we're going to mix some pink. So take some of that dark pink and add some white and get a nice light pink going. So this is like a medium, mid-tone of that color. And taking the number 6 tool, we're just going to place a pink dot in between those 2 large gold dots. You might find that you have more or less space in between the gold dots than I do, and you can just adjust the size depending on where you're at. Okay, so this is the number 8 tool. We're going to place a hot pink dot underneath that pink dot. And it's at this point where the gravity starts to take place on the paint on your bauble. So if you have a paint that's too fluid, at this point you're going to know it because it's going to start drooping and sagging and it's going to start dripping, because part of the quality of fluid paints is it's just the flow. Where multi-surface paints, they have a little bit of a thickness and they grab onto the surface much better. So this is really where you want to make sure that your paint consistency is right on. And if it's not, you'll need to adjust it. All right, so now we're moving on to number 9, and we're going to place a gold dot underneath the white one. So you see the pattern that's kind of forming here. So we have pearl, gold, and it's just alternating colors down those columns of dots. All right, now let's grab that pink color with the same tool size, number 9, and place that underneath the dark pink. So it's the same tool size, just alternating colors. And this time the dot goes on the line rather than in between the line. Okay, so here is where we are right now. Isn't that so cute? Really nice, but I've painted enough things to know that you just need to walk away, let it dry, because it will smudge for sure. So I'm going to put my palette into my wet palette, spray it with some water, and then go let it dry. Go do something else. Now we're back, everything is dry, and we can really feel comfortable holding this thing because it is just so easy to accidentally touch a wet dot and have it smear and just wreck all your work. So that's no fun. So we're going to take the number 10 tool, and this time we're going to drop that dot down, making sure that there's extra space above the dot. So like 3 times the amount of space that we have been placing in between those dots. Just make sure that there's a good margin surrounding this dot. That's going to set you up nice for what we're going to do next. So now we're going to take some of that pearl paint and a stylus tool and walk the dots. So put some paint on the end of your stylus tool and then just place dots all along the right side. So you load the tool once and you just place dots one after the other with the same amount of paint all the way around that pink dot. And now let's switch it up. So you do this for each of those hot pink dots all the way around. Once the white dots are done, let's go in with gold and do a second row. So you load your tool once, and you can also flip the ornament. So for me, I am better. I know that my muscle memory is just better on the right side of objects. It's super weird. You might be fine, but sometimes it helps if you rotate your object so that you can dot on the preferred side. So here it is again. You load your tool and then dot consecutively, and the dots just get smaller because it has less paint on the end of your tool to make the dot. And then this is the side that's tricky for me. So it's going from right to left. That's a little tougher for me, but you know, I manage. That's fine. Okay, so now we're going to flip it over and place a white dot in between each of those little petal sections. So whatever dot will fit. For mine, a number 7 works perfectly, and it just fits right in between those sections that we just painted. And now we're going to continue the pattern with a gold dot in a smaller size. And now let's finish off that petal shape with the final row of pink dots. And they're going to look like they connect with the larger gold dots that we just painted. So you'll go from the center of the petal upwards and then connect on the other side as well. Now here is where two of my dots kind of got smudged together. Were a little too close. So these silicone tools are what I use to just wipe away all the mess up boo-boo dots. And then it's super easy. You can just then redo the dots in the correct spacing. Those silicone tools make cleanup easy. Now, isn't this precious just the way it is? This is a very beautiful ornament, and this completes level 1 of this tutorial. However, if you want to kick it up a couple notches, let's add some rhinestones. What do you say? So this is a fully dried ornament. The paint has dried on, and I'm just going to play with these budget rhinestones. They are plastic, and I'm so okay with that. They come in all different shapes, and they have a really pretty iridescent shine to them. They're really nice. And during the holidays, I especially allow myself to play with all of these pretty rhinestones that I've collected over the years. And it just takes something and just kicks it up a couple of levels and makes it look super dangerous. Look at that. I mean, dots are a perfect base for using crystals because, I mean, this one you can see it just is the exact size of the diameter of that stone, so it just fits really nicely. For the glue, I'm using Judykins Diamond Glaze, but they have a bunch of different craft glues. The one thing I will say is I've stayed away from super glue because it dries foggy. You want something that dries clear, just in case a bit squishes out of the side. You don't want it to look foggy and mess up the look of your stone, but here you can see you can use teardrop shapes right at the bottom. Look at how nice that looks, right? And when these are on the tree at night, when the lights are on, they just sparkle so beautifully. If you're going to work with rhinestones, you're really going to need a wax pencil. I have these in my shop. These are my favorite, and they last forever. So with each application, you just use a smidge of that wax on the end of your crystal, but look at that. Are you kidding? It sparkles so much. So you can just take a look and see where you need color, where you need more sparkle. Try not to go overboard. If you do go overboard, that's fine. I've been known to do that, and sometimes that's fun. And I think during the holidays, you can go as crazy as you'd like. You can tell them that Rachel said it was okay. More color and more sparkle. It's for Christmas. It's for the children. It's not really. It's for us. Let's just be honest. Okay, so I think right now what we're doing is making top dots of a lighter color on the pink. And then I'm using that beautiful turquoise on top of the gold dots. And I like how that is kind of calling out to the base color and giving it a place in the paint. And now we're using the stylus tool for the tiny dots up at the top. And wow, I'm so happy with these. I made a set of them and I have a theme all worked out in my mind. Do you guys do that? Or do you just go with what ornaments you already have? And I just got a flocked tree, one of those things, the trees that look like it has fake snow on it. I'm so excited about it because I've got all my black and white and teal and red. So it's black, white, teal, red, and pink. And lots of sparkle. Lots of it. Just the more, the better. So here we are adding the finishing touches. And then once the paint is dry, don't forget, you can wipe down those chalk lines and watercolor lines and they will disappear. So here is the final ornament. What do you guys think? So I made that one, and then I made this one, and then I made another one. That was from last week's tutorial, but I did it on that smaller ball. Oh, there's my tree. It makes me so happy. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And as always, you can visit me over at thedottingcenter.com for any of your dot art supply needs. Alright guys, until next time, bye!